In the mud near Lake Biwa, a war horse cuts through broken arrows. The rider does not look back. Behind her, the army of Minamoto no Yoshinaka is collapsing. Men who once followed him into Kyoto are now scattered across the field, wounded, exhausted, surrounded. The air is thick with the sound of steel, shouting, and horses screaming in the cold. And at the center of it all is Tomoe Gozen, armed, still fighting. She is not standing in a palace. She is not waiting to be rescued. She is on horseback, bow in hand, sword at her side, facing the final ruin of the man she served. Then Yoshinaka turns to her. He knows the battle is lost. He knows death is near. But what he says is not simply, "Save yourself." It is something heavier. Leave. Because if I die with a woman beside me, people will shame me for it. And in that moment, Tomoe is fighting two wars at once. One against the enemy in front of her. The Genpei War has split the country between powerful warrior clans. The old courtly order is beginning to give way to a harsher age, an age of mounted archers, clan loyalty, burning temples, and men who understand that power is no longer only inherited, it is taken. Minamoto no Yoshinaka rises in this storm. He is ambitious, bold, and dangerous. His victories make him famous. His soldiers follow him through mountains and bloodshed until, in 1183, he enters Kyoto, the ancient capital, the heart of imperial authority. For a moment, Yoshinaka seems unstoppable, and beside him, in the memory of the story, appears Tomoe. She is described not as decoration, not as a quiet companion, but as a warrior of rare skill. Beautiful. Yes, because storytellers could not resist saying so, but also terrifying on horseback, deadly with a bow, and strong enough to be called by tales describe her as worth 1,000 fighters. That description is almost too perfect. And that is where the mystery begins. Because Tomoe survives mostly inside war literature, especially the great tales written and performed after the conflict, her image reaches us through voices shaped by memory, politics, and performance. But even if the details are uncertain, the emotional truth of her legend is clear. She represents something disruptive. A woman who belongs not in the background of war, but at its center. As Yoshinaka's power grows, so does the danger around him. Victory makes him visible. Visibility makes him threatening. And soon, the threat does not only come from the rival Taira clan, it comes from within his own Minamoto family. His cousin, Minamoto no Yoritomo, sees him not as an ally, but as a rival. In this world, blood ties are not enough to protect a man from ambition. The clan that rises together can also turn inward, blade against blade. Yoshinaka's dream begins to close around him, like a trap. The road leads to Awazu. By the time we return to that battlefield near Lake Biwa, the glory has drained away. The banners are torn, the horses are slick with mud. The men who remain with Yoshinaka are few. Tomoe is still there. Imagine her in armor, breathing hard in the winter air, watching the end arrive piece by piece. She has survived long enough to see reputation become useless. No title can stop the enemy now. No past victory can save the doomed. Yoshinaka tells her to leave. And this command cuts deeper than fear, because he is not only thinking about death, he is thinking about legacy, about shame, about how men will speak of him later. To die with Tomoe beside him, in his mind, would weaken the image of his final stand. That is the tragedy. Tomoe may be strong enough to fight beside him, but the story of masculine honor may not be strong enough to accept her there. So she makes a choice. Not to beg, not to argue, not to explain her worth. She proves it one last time. In the most dramatic version of the tale, Tomoe searches the battlefield for a worthy opponent. She charges forward, finds a powerful enemy warrior, attacks him with brutal precision, pulls him from his horse, and takes his head. It is a violent image, but in the language of that world, it is also a statement. A severed head is proof of courage, proof of victory, proof that she was not merely present in the story, she shaped it. Then, Tomoe rides away. Behind her, Yoshinaka's final moments unfold without her. He tries to escape, but the mud and chaos betray him. His horse struggles. His enemies close in. The man who entered Kyoto with dreams of power dies far from triumph, swallowed by the same war that made him famous. And Tomoe disappears. This is where her story becomes even more haunting. Some traditions say she became a nun, others say she married, others leave her as a wandering figure, moving beyond the edge of the page. There is no clean ending, no grave scene, no final speech, no confirmed last breath, only absence. And maybe that is why Tomoe Gozen endures. Because she does not belong entirely to history, and she does not belong entirely to legend, she stands between them, asking us to look carefully at who gets remembered, who gets doubted, and who gets reshaped by the people holding the pen. Perhaps Tomoe was a real warrior whose life became larger through storytelling. Perhaps she was partly invented to make Yoshinaka's downfall more dramatic. Or perhaps the truth is somewhere in between, a real woman, sharpened by memory into myth. Tomoe Gozen was remembered as one of the most skilled warriors of her age. Yet her abilities existed in a world that struggled to fully accept someone like her. Leadership lesson. The strongest leaders evaluate people by their capability, character, and results, not by whether they fit a traditional mold. When talent is overlooked because it challenges expectations, everyone loses. 2. Loyalty is powerful, but it cannot replace strategy. Tomoe remained loyal to Yoshinaka until the very end. But loyalty alone could not save him from political isolation, fractured alliances, and powerful rivals within his own clan. A loyal team is one of a leader's greatest assets. But loyalty cannot compensate for poor strategy, weak alliances, or missed threats. Leadership requires both trust and foresight. 3. Your legacy is shaped by your actions, not by the story you try to control. As defeat approached, Yoshinaka worried about how history would judge his final moments. Yet centuries later, people remember not only him, but also Tomoe. Leaders cannot fully control how they will be remembered. What endures are the decisions they make, the people they influence, and the values they demonstrate when circumstances are at their worst. Perhaps that's why Tomoe Gozen still endures. Not because we know every detail of her life, but because her story reminds us that courage, excellence, and character can outlive both victory and defeat. If this story moved you, there are more like it on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.